Let's take a look at security by the SDN. SDN agents and controllers can be provisioned to be a perimeter to an individual device or service. Security services integrated into agent systems, such as identity management, threat defense, and content inspection, as well as those that impose compliance and regulatory requirements, can be applied to connections and flows. Attacks and anomalies are reported to controllers that can enforce network-wide containment and distribute protection updates. Once deployed, security policy provisioning, problem resolution, and performance monitoring become centralized and automated. So now let's move on to looking in more detail on security by the SDN. Security services are integrated into agent systems. So for example, identity management, threat defense, and content inspection can all be running on the agent system. Security checks, configuration error checking, compliance, and regulatory requirements can be built in and applied to policy configurations, connections, and flows. So as you configure a feature, you're able to take advantage of checking for correct policy, correct configuration syntax. A good example is implementing a routing protocol and then perhaps wanting to go and secure that routing protocol. Being able to have a configuration check to ensure that the configuration is correct before it's pushed down to an agent is a really important thing, because the last thing you want is incorrect configurations in the network. Because again, attacks or disruptions to service don't always come from outside users attacking the network. They can come from just simple configuration errors. Attacks and anomalies are reported to controllers that can enforce network-wide containment and distribute protection updates. By automatically being able to protect the agents as soon as we know that there is an attack taking place, this limits or removes distributed DOS-type attacks and the impacts they have on the network. The main thing here with security by the SDN is that security is integrated into the deployment from day one. It's no longer an overlay and a fingers crossed that everything is going to work out the way we want it to. Security is an integral part of the core technology. To make things a little bit clearer, let's have a look at an example of security by the SDN in action. Here's a typical SDN implementation, and notice the layered approach to the system. As we'll see in a later part of this presentation, each of these layers will provide security in its own right. But for now, let's have a look how SDN can help thwart an attack in real time. So having a look at step 0, we have our user accessing the network. So that's accessing the network through this particular agent. Now the user could possibly be launching a day 0 type attack, so there will be a malicious infection coming into the network. The SDN layer will see the user's activity and it will have the flow captured. This information then gets passed to the analytics engine, which will detect and identify any attack and report this information to the Security Operations Center. So up to step 4, the SDN-based response systems will act on the real-time information, saying that we have a possible attack. In step 5, the automation tool will be executed to contain and mitigate the attack. Once this has been done, the containment and mitigation policy can then be pushed to the SDN layer and therefore to other agents in the network. So over at step 7, when this is done, we have an enterprise-wide protection with the policy update sent to all agents in the network.